Thanks.
Hi. Welcome to everyone. We're so glad to have you. Glad to be here tonight at the wonderful Mount Airy Museum for Regional History. We decided to change it up a little bit. So we dressed up and changed things. So we're happy to be here and thank you for the invite. And again, I hope you're all comfortable and we'll get right into our meeting. So with that, I want to call this meeting to order. And by doing that, first I will ask Commissioner Bill Goins to lead in our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Goins.
Father, heaven, we're thankful to be here this evening. Father, we thank you for your grace and for your mercy. Father, we pray that you be with us as we go about the citizen business, that you'll help us in making wise and good decisions that affect the citizens of Surry County. Father, we pray for those that are sick, who've lost loved ones. Father, we pray for the tragedy that happened in the Charlotte. We pray that you be with those families as they deal with tragedy in their city. Father, we ask that you bless our servicemen, our policemen, our sheriff's officers, our paramedics, anybody who protects us. While we just pray that you put his protection around him at this time. On all things, we give you the praise and honor, Lord. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Look, it's to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Gentlemen, you looked at your agenda packets, and with that, I am asking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman. Motion, Commissioner Mayor, do we hear a second? Second. Second, Commissioner Johnson, any discussion? None, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. And the agenda has been approved. Also, in your packets, we've been meeting quite often here lately with budget and things going on, so I am asking for in one motion the approval of the minutes of April the 15th, 2024, April the 23rd, 2024, and April the 30th of 2024 meeting minutes. Unless there's corrections or something you want to bring to the attention, I'm looking for a motion to approve all these minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Motion, second. Second. Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? None. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And the meeting minutes have been approved. Okay, also, you've, I'm sure, looked at your consent agenda. It's fairly short tonight, but I am looking for a motion to approve, and before I do, I'm going to ask Chris Knopf, the county manager, if you will go over the bullet points in tonight's consent agenda. Go, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First is a release of a fire service request for qualifications, RFQ. In short, this was discussed at the board's retreat at the end of February. It's ready to be solicited. Next is a request to appoint Tax Administrator Penny Harrison for an additional 2-year term. And finally, there's a request for a number of properties to be surplus and to be auctioned off by the firm that we've been using the last year or so, Rogers Realty. As you can see, there are a number of vehicles on this list, trailers, actually a couple of boats, diesel generators, things of that nature, all in the possession currently of the sheriff's office. And that's consent agenda.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the consent agenda laid out in the 3 items that it contains. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve, Chairman.
Motion from Commissioner Bill Goins. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Mark Marion. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. And the consent agenda is passed as presented. Okay, and now we have a special time here for some recognitions. And we've got the East Surry High School Quiz Bowl team, 2024 champions. And we will ask you guys and whoever is representing you to come up at this time. Anybody involved with the East Surry School Quiz Bowl team, please come up. Okay. Mr. Perry. Let's see, I believe you, this is Nate Parrish. I go to church with Nate. I've known Nate almost every day of his life. Minus about a week maybe. And he's a fine young man, and I didn't know he was going to be here tonight. But Nate, do you mind telling us a little bit about the East Surry Quiz Bowl competition and the event? Is that okay? You want to say a few words to us so we'll know what all that entails?
Well, we're really hard to compete every year. We always like study and push each other to further our knowledge. And I mean, this year we got to reap rewards of that. So yeah.
And you guys were at a state level competition that was held in Greensboro, I understand?
Yes, we were.
I understand. And I don't know why you're wearing that t-shirt tonight, but yeah, there you go. You want to tell us a little bit about that t-shirt?
Well, I'm going to be going to NC State next year, and I plan to major in engineering.
Already been accepted, ready to go.
Yeah, I'll be majoring in either mechanical or aerospace engineering.
Well, good for you. Nate, I'm gonna read the reward here. Is anyone else with the Surry team that happens to be here? Any representatives?
Well, we're from the library system, as you know. Our team had a conflict. They're just so good at everything they do. They were held up at a soccer match this afternoon and also at a golf match. So, Nate is the lone.
I understand.
lone wolf. Yes.
No problem. Well, with that, I'm going to congratulate you, Nate. I'm gonna read you a honor or a certificate of recognition here. Nate Parrish, East Surry High School Quiz Bowl team. You are hereby presented this certificate of recognition for your contribution to the East Surry High School Quiz Bowl team, earning first place in the Northwestern Regional Library System Quiz Bowl competition. Your team of talented classmates have not only worked hard to achieve success, but also developing lasting bonds. The certificate is presented to you this 6th day of May, 2024, by the Surry County Board of Commissioners. Van Tucker, Mark Marion, Bill Goins, Eddie Harris, Larry Johnson, and congratulations, sir. Andy, do you have anything else you'd like to add to that? I got some more certificates. If you will, come on up. And if you want to address the audience again, come on around this side. And you feel free to make any comments about your participation in the library's participation in this, please do.
Wonderful. We are so proud and so pleased to offer an academic quiz bowl every year. The 4 counties of Northwestern Regional Library System all join together, and high schools from all over compete for this academic honor. We are proud of them when the Cardinals take it home. I have to admit them. I do an extra little happy dance on Main Street in Highland. So come by to see that anytime. But we're very proud of these young people and of course of all the other teams who participated. We thank them.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
thank you.
And before you leave, I want to, on behalf of, the other kids, I'd like to call their names. We have a same certificate of recognition for Taylor Sutton, Ethan Chandler, Troy Haywood, Logan Hedrick, Amber Midkiff, and of course, yours, Nate. And again, thank you, congratulations. I got 2 more here. Okay, Maria Black, oh, Bill. Okay, oh, all right. Maria Blakely and Sally Blakely, and those 2. Thank you very much. Let's give them a big round of applause. And I think I put mine on the floor a little bit here. I wasn't used to it.
Mike Bird up to 5 feet. Malia and Mike are receiving certificate of recognition for representing Marion Schools as participant in 2024 Special Olympics Surry County, so they'll each get a certificate for that. So just I'll do that. Abby Gallimore. Go, story, no, okay. 1992, 1992, she was a freshman. But no, sir, I got a teacher, so yeah. We didn't do it. Right? That all,
That's everyone.
there you go, so they all got to be good. County of Surry presents Abby Gallimore the certificate of recognition for her outstanding dedication and leadership in organizing a successful 2024 Special Olympics event at Marion High School. The tribe's efforts were instrumental to ensure a special day filled with excitement, courage, and the overwhelming joy of accomplishment for each Special Olympic athlete. Presented this the 6th day of May 2024 by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, Van Tucker, Mark Marion, Bill Goins, Eddie Harris. Nicole Hooker. I didn't get to teach her by Sharon Nichols for everything at Barrington, so Nicole Hooker is hereby presented a certificate of recognition to Cincinnati High School for your outstanding dedication and leadership in organizing a successful 2024 Special Olympics event at Mary High School. The tireless efforts were instrumental to ensure a special day filled with excitement, courage, and everyone enjoy and accomplish each Special Olympic athlete. Presented this 6th day of May 2024 by the Surry County Board of Commissioners, Van Tucker, Martin Marion, Field, Rowan, State, Harrison, and Louisiana. Congratulations. I'll just say that, Special Olympics was a great event, appreciate Mary hosting that, it was a great day.
Thank you, and on that note, I see a couple flipped in on me, welcome Chad Hutchins from the Mount Airy Town Board of Commissioners, Scott Meeting from Pilot Mountain Town Board of Commissioners, and Mr. Dr. Philip Brown, if you would like to come up, this is your hometown, and make a couple of comments, so we'd invite you to do so. Thank you, come on up. Oh, he'll be on the spot, he'll be on the spot a lot more than that.
Not quite ready, but I do appreciate all the work that Abby and Nicole put into this event. Hosting at Mount Airy High is no small feat. If you've ever attended one of these events, it's a lot of people and a lot of work behind the scenes to make it all work. I'm really proud of them. Something's changed with the sound. But yeah, we're really proud of them, the work that they've done. So welcome to Mount Airy if you're not from here. And thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. And we, glad to have everyone here, and again, we want to express our gratitude now to everybody that's made it possible that we come here. We appreciate the Mount Airy Museum and what it does for your fine community in our county. And, again, we want to, compliment you on all the things that we see when we come in here and look around, and, you do a good job, and we appreciate it greatly. And, so thank you for hosting us, and, maybe we'll get to do this again one of these days. Okay, let's move it right on along. I knocked about everything I had off the floor, but I think I've finally got that together here. Tonight, it is time for open forum. This segment of our meeting will allow anyone to come up and say about anything, take 2 or 3 minutes, whatever's on your mind. We hope you will keep it fairly kind, but most anything, nothing much out of bounds. Anybody that's got anything for open forum, now would be a good time to come up. Yes, sir. Come on up, give us your name, your telephone number, and tell us what's on your mind. Turn that thing around, Joe, where to fix it there.
Okay, Joe Zalesik, 1541 West Devon Drive, Mount Airy, 336-934-2791. I'm here tonight representing the Surry County Farmers Market Board because we'd like to give an annual update about what the farmers market is up to. And I always get nominated to do that, Joe. So we now have 4 markets in Surry County. We opened Pilot Mountain 2 weeks ago, and we will be opening Dobson tomorrow. Actually, Dobson is opening earlier in the season because our vendors have a lot of plants and they want to get those out to the people. One of the things that our market does is the senior voucher program. We are one of only 49 counties that participate in that program. And each senior that is eligible gets a book of $50 of vouchers to spend on produce. And we are in the middle of training our vendors for that. And as of yesterday, we have a total of 45 vendors in our system. Now, not all 45 vendors go to all the markets. We have a combination of about 45 vendors. And a couple weeks ago, I did a presentation to the Mount Airy City Commissioners just about the Mount Airy market and the economic impact that that market has on the city. Countywide, our 4 markets in sales annually is $250,000. Now, these are for small family farmers. Some people do their livelihood with crafts, but we have estimated $250,000 in sales for the year. Now, Pilot has been added. We are there Saturday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. at the church off Marion Street or Key Street, we have a side lot with about 20 vendors. We do Mount Airy every Friday morning from 9 to 1. And Commissioner Johnson is a regular customer. I have a bag of peanuts for you on Friday, so come see me. Also, Elkin, 9 to noon every Saturday. That is our biggest market. And we really appreciate what the commissioners have done for us, especially in Dobson with the shelter. We are really trying to promote that market there, and that's why we're opening early. And we're going to get some new rack cards to distribute. I know Andrew distributed some last year. We appreciate that. And we're going to add that pilot market to the distribution. And again, please come out and see us. Like I said, this is the livelihood for quite a few people. They pay their light bill and they pay, their mortgages with sales from these markets. Any support is really appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. There you go. Pull that thing right there. You go. Over, Gary. Thank you.
My name is Angela Yakin. I'm the chair of the Museum Board of Directors. And I want to say welcome. Thank you for coming. And to extend the use of the facility anytime you want. As you can see, we've got 3 rooms plus the conference room downstairs if the elevator gets a little cranky, and I have been used to the elevator twice. Lucky me. But welcome. Please come and see us. And as you go out, take a good look on the first floor with our renovations. The second floor is under construction right now, and Matt would be happy to show or discuss that with you at the end of the floor. Welcome to come back and see us.
Thank you so much. Good to be here. We're happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. All right. Anyone else? Yes. Name the phone number again, please.
Yes, my name is Anna Nichols. You can reach me at 336-710-4055, and most days at the library, 368-2370. I just wanted to take one other moment to remind you that there's something always new and wonderful and exciting happening at the library. So we so much appreciate all the support and the care that we give to Northwestern Michigan Library here in Surry County. I wanted to let you know that we offer, as of last Wednesday, a new service to our customers. It's called, it's a streaming service that people are very, very excited about. So take your library card. If you don't have one, we can remedy that situation. It only costs your firstborn child when you come to blood. So, and yes, I've had parents ask me, will you take my second born as well? But we would like for all of you to enjoy the Hoopla service, and it's available to everyone. So I'm going to leave you some information. Like I said, if you don't have a card, drop by your nearest library here in Surry. We have five establishments to serve you. So please hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Anna. All right. Anyone else for open forum tonight? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Name and phone number, please.
Scott Needham, 336-444-8113. I wanted to, let everybody know, if they don't already know, we have made this coming weekend in Pilot Mountain, and please come out. Great to see you, and I'm so glad that the farmers market has expanded to Pilot Mountain. Thank you for your hard work on that. And also, I've already invited Chairman Tucker, but I want to invite all of you to our Hometown Heroes event that we're going to have May the 18th at 10 o'clock. And if you haven't seen it in Pilot Mountain, we put up banners of all the heroes, our veterans on Main Street, and half of those are up. We got one side done, and then it started raining, and so we're getting the other side up this week. But if anybody's interested in doing that, if they have a family member or just somebody they know that has served and is done business in Pilot Mountain or lives in Pilot Mountain or the surrounding area, Shoals, Westfield, that area, you can get in touch with Town Hall and have that hero put up in downtown. It's something that we do between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else for open forum tonight? Okay. With seeing no one else, we will close the session for open forum, and with that, I'll invite up Mr. Jeff E. with Partners Behavioral Health Management. Come on up, Jeff. Just that microphone will suit you.
At all. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for letting me give you an update on Partners. It's a busy time of the year for sure, and we do have some big changes on the horizon. One of those is our CEO, Mr. Rhett Melton. Good for him. He has announced his retirement. He's a couple of grandkids, and I think that changes one's perspective on life, and his wife is recently retired, so we're very happy for Rhett. But nonetheless, his last day with us is going to be on July the 31st. But I do want to let you all know that our board of directors, they're diligently working now on the succession planning process. And of course, we want a smooth transition in leadership. And our board has committed themselves to a comprehensive search for candidates with the expertise and vision to lead our agency forward at this time, because beginning July 1 is when we officially launch this thing that we've been talking about for years called the Taylor Plan. And that is when Partners will expand from being a manager of behavioral health services, which is inclusive of mental health, substance use disorders, and intellectual and developmental disabilities. So for the members we serve, we will also be managing their physical health component as well as pharmacy. So that's going to be very different. That's part of the whole person integrated care model. And that launch is 7/1. So we're moving toward that date right now, but also looking at this transition in leadership. So stay tuned on that. And as soon as we have an announcement for, I'm sure your board representative will be letting you know, but I'll also see county manager. Official communication on that report out to you all as well. But as far as the Taylor Plan launch, probably since the last time I updated you all, the LME LCO, the Local Management Committee Managed Care Organization System in North Carolina, has once again consolidated and shrunk. So we are now down to 4 entities like Partners across the state. We have VIA in the West, we have Partners, we have Alliance, we have Trillium. And Trillium is large now, 47 counties, but they also now include the old Sandhills Center as well as East Point. So East Point and Sandhills, no more, and that's all merged in with Trillium. So it's crazy. It used to just be like one of these almost in every county, the local mental health authority, and now there's 4 across the state like that. So we'll be launching the Taylor Plan together on 7/1. So I do want to let folks know that this, again, I said that this is a pivotal time for us because this is a fundamental shift, because this is a completely different way of doing business for us. I mean, we're used to, again, being the mental health, the substance use folks in the community. And now when we're moving into the person's physical health, as well as how the pharmaceutical benefit gets managed, and the focus really for us is going to be more around customized support. It's going to be around enhanced care management, as well as a focus on preventive care. So this again is moving in the direction of moving away from a fee-for-service model to one that's based more on outcomes and quality. So we're moving toward a time when it's less focused on events and services and more focused on our providers, which are, what do we need to do to keep a person healthy? How can we support them in their journey? And that's going to look different for every person. So folks in the Taylor Plan, again, will be eligible for enhanced care management services. And we're hopeful. We're hoping that with the population that we serve, which again is folks with moderate to severe, acute, as well as chronic conditions, that we'll be able to do a good job by them. Also, this is kind of hot off the presses for today. A couple of years ago, it was actually February 2021. It feels like a couple of years ago, but I guess it's been multiple years ago. North Carolina
started rumbling about putting together a statewide entity to help us with some of the problems we've been running into with children who are in the foster care system, children that are in DSS custody. I know that you all probably have heard from your DSS director, as well as the folks working in that system. Very complicated, and especially for children who may be moving outside of the county and needing to go to an area served by someone outside of the partners area, can sometimes be cumbersome and fraught with some logistical challenges. So what the state wants to do is form a single statewide Medicaid managed care plan that will provide, again, integrated healthcare service regardless of geographic location. So this is across all 100 counties. And I'm pleased to say that partners in partnership with Via Health, who's again out of the West, we are submitting an application today that would be driven by an minivan. I understand it was 28 boxes, which will be unboxed tomorrow. I guess that's a little too big to ship. It's a good one. What the type of timeline of getting it there. I guess it's just easier to send something like that handle everything. So that was going on its way to Raleigh today. But again, we're hoping that this is going to provide better consistency, access to care, more efficient administration of that, improved data management, because again, right now that's bifurcated. And at best, it's going to be across 4 LMEOCOs. And also a simplified experience for local DSS as well as those families. So stay tuned on that. Partners in Via, we are not the only applicant for this. We'll be in competition with some of the other private managed care organizations that serve North Carolina. I'm not sure who all has them. There's been something called a quiet period where it's kind of been very hush hush because folks have not been willing to share what's going to be in their application package. So I anticipate that's going to be quite the competitive process. So I wanted to share those 3 big updates to start. And then I wanted to stop there and leave a little bit of time to make sure that I was able to fill some questions from the board and from you as well, Chris. So,
Joe? Questions, comments for Jeff?
These changes, they're always hard to keep up with for me. There's been so many changes in your organization and prior organizations with Surry County over the years. I guess my first question is, how is this going to affect your facility over there helping as far as who's there and staffing and that sort of thing? If there going to be any changes there at your location?
Not new to this. We have had some changes structurally in the organization post pandemic, to be quite honest with you. We have a smaller staff there now. Of course, for those of you that are familiar with that facility, it has a generator backup, a call center. So it serves as a hub if we have kind of crisis and emergency situations too, or we need a place where we can do backup work. So Elkin is outfitted for that. They can handle some of that for all 15 of our counties. After the 2 years, because we rapidly went to a home-based model during the pandemic, and during that time we had turnover as well. And because we were doing remote work, some of the things, like for instance, we ran a 24/7, 365 call center out of Elkin up until 2020. However, we quickly had to pivot because we couldn't have as much time in the office, so they started doing that remote. Was the consequence of that? Now we have folks that are doing our phone work and other administrative functions. They live all across the state now. So where it used to be local folks doing that, now we have kind of a deeper pool to draw from that is inclusive of local folks. But we have a smaller staff there now, quite honestly. But we do have space available. And recently, Jamie and his staff were over and we were able to host them for a retreat type event because we have nice conference room facilities. So I do want to make sure that folks within the county know too, because we have that kind of space, that room, and that kind of capacity. We always want to let people avail themselves if we can be a good partner with that as well. We have a generous amount of footage, but this time that doesn't create. There's a lot of words to say because of this.
Yeah, I think the commissioners, our board paid for that.
Before my time,
Yeah, it was when I first came on board, I think it's for county, seemed like it was $1 million, a little over $1 million, maybe.
I'm not sure. I think Crossroads also funded some of that on their own with that. So it probably was a blend of things, but it was bought out. So there's not like a mortgage or,
Yeah.
or we have a rent type thing on that. So,
These changes, that you speak about, the Taylor plan and all those things, what in your view would be the biggest effect as far as our, DSS and Surry Health and Nutrition Centers, anything that more there?
no, sir, I think probably with the biggest things that are going to be happening with Taylor plan, they're already prepared for that. DSS has been, in working with the Medicaid expansion and these other pieces, they're already very familiar with what's going to be happening. As is Sam, the folks within the health department. So they're not feeling any disruption. And in the contracts that we have, say with the health department, et cetera, that's already been taken care of. They're already brought into us beginning July 1 for that. So they're not going to, they should have no victims. They should, in fact, they probably wouldn't even feel anything different on July 1. It'll just be more for us in terms of how the information, how we authorize services, how we do utilization management, and also the types of data that we're going to be able to have on folks. But again, it's really when you bring in pharmacy and healthcare into the other pieces, those are hopefully going to make things easier for our partners at DSS and the health department. Because we'll have a better handle on what's going on with folks. So,
your organization, tell us how, as far as involuntary commitments, what is the scope of your organization in dealing with that?
well, with the involuntary commitments, in an ideal world, organizations like mine would be more involved prior to an involuntary commitment and more on the back end. And when I say that, because the involuntary commitment process itself is it's a legal and judicial process. And once that process is triggered and a commitment is someone visits the magistrate's office, report out there, and papers are issued, there's a whole series of legal things that go into play, right? And then so what happens after that is largely out of the hands of, say, the partners or the providers in their network. But I've thought a lot about the involuntary commitments because, if we really look at what's causing, why are so many people getting caught up in this, it's very complicated. And there's no one reason because each individual that winds up in that commitment process, there's a very distinct reason that they wind up there. Sometimes it's substance use, sometimes it's mental health, sometimes it's just other things that are happening where the person poses really the two things, danger to themselves or danger to someone else. But it can also be quite a controversial process because it raises a lot of ethical concerns at times due to because involuntary commitments also relate to individual autonomy because it is what it is. It's an involuntary commitment process. So for a moment in time, that person's rights, civil rights are suspended, right? Because they're moving through that process. As we start talking about it, because, a lot of folks feel like there's a potential baked into that for what we could call coercive treatment, meaning the person could be forced into it. That's including like involuntary hospitalization, forced medication, seclusion and restraint, or some type of court-ordered treatment. So, you hear probably a lot of frustrations from places like hospitals, sheriff's office, local law enforcement about the taxing on their staff as well as their resources to be able to handle that. Of course, in times past, when someone was in an emergency room, services such as mobile crisis management could be dispatched. However, the way it's set up now, we're barred from doing that because the Medicaid system sees that as double dipping. Like, well, the hospital's getting paid for it. It's on them to do it. So, we're not really allowed to go in and bill for that. However, if it's a member being served by partners, it's one of the folks on our roster, and they're on a voluntary commitment. We're providing care management on site and telephonically, so for the partners folks, we're working right hand in hand with the hospital. We actually have hospital liaisons. They go out and do a lot of that and assist them. Now, for the privately insured, or the folks that are in the standard plan, it's kind of a different animal. But, you know, the best way to work on involuntary commitments is not have it. You know, that's to kind of go back to that early intervention part, and to make sure, you know, we're doing more expanding screenings, you know, making sure we've got plenty of community-based counseling. You know, do we have screenings in detention centers? Do we have peer support in schools, community centers? And also in a lot of other communities that have managed to cut down on their involuntary commitments. And they've done some logistical changes where they are really looking at things like specialty courts, like mental health court, substance use disorder court, veterans type courts, things like that, or diversion programs. So that again, there's not so much of a, because an involuntary commitment in its purest form should be the last resort. That should be the last thing that happens in that process. But when folks approach it from a more traditional model, this is that's kind of what we have here currently. Then it's going to direct folks into that funnel because there's not another diversionary type of tax. Answer your question. That's a lot of words about the voluntary commitments, but it's something that the county ever wants to think about a larger conversation about that. Certain partners would like to be a part of it because again, we're talking about first responders, hospitals, we're talking about mental health providers, we're talking about community members at large. That's what we find too, is a lot of folks, they just wind up in a crisis. They don't know what to do. They call 911 because they don't know other services are available. And sometimes they'll direct them that route. But there's a lot of unknown things that go on with that involuntary commitment process that the general public doesn't understand, even when like a lot of times parents will do that with children, for example, and they don't really fully make an informed choice about this means now for that moment in time your child is in custody of law. And then a judge is going to hear and determine what type of treatment you need and when we be released. And that's when we get involved again with this. Is that all? Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions? No. I have one.
Yes.
Jeff, you talked about, Commissioner Harris asked about the staff that it was now somewhat reduced after Fed in the open office.
Yes.
These case managers and management and folks on your team, the teams that you operate with and unison with, you say they're scattered lots of places throughout the state.
Well, for the call center type folks that do those type of functions. So for like our care management staff,
Yeah.
because they're charged with, and I kind of interrupted you, I'm so sorry.
Not-
I was gonna say for the folks that do our face-to-face component in the community, they're local.
Yeah.
Because that can't all be done telephonically. Plans have to be updated. There's school meetings, there's, you know, IEPs that need to be attended to, things like that. So those folks are more local.
Yeah. Well, that, and I was going to add, because we hear about it, from other organizations that we deal with. How many of those folks work from home post-COVID? Do a lot of your folks like that, case management, other management professionals, are they working from home or are they working in an office somewhere? If they're not in health, where are these folks?
Yeah, a lot of those are home-based folks now.
So they're working from home.
Mhm. Yes, I mean, because that infrastructure had to be put in place and they've done that for 2 years. And then at that point in time, because again, a lot of the folks that were there, some of them again moved on, right? And then we had other folks come on and we were already into that model. And you know, it kind of got so far down the road, it's kind of hard to walk it back.
Yeah, we have found as a county government that sometimes that's hard to compete with in the labor market. I was just asking, not that it's all on you or your organization, of course, but I mean, it's hard to offer a person 40 hours coming and sitting at a desk when they do case management from home while they're, you know, at home. So I was just curious as to how many on your team, or if it was a good part of them to do case management from home.
Yeah, it's a good point about the competitive nature of it. We certainly deal with that regularly. We lose a lot of people to competition. We lose a lot of folks to the private plans, the Blue Crosses, the Uniteds. We're also recently losing a lot of folks to private industry because that's a model that's been adopted too. We just can't hang with the salaries, quite honestly, because ours is, we have an administrative percent that we can use for salaries. And then that's, and we also are part of the State Personnel Act, or what we call the SPA. Not that it's a relaxing event, but so we have pretty structured and rigid, much like you are, in terms of what folks can make and the pay structure and things like that.
Do you find that allowing them to work home is a, and it's okay for the answer is yes or no, but do you find, just curious, do you find it is a tool for recruitment and retention that you can offer that case management position from their home?
Yeah, we can offer, I mean, we have folks work in quality management, and then we've even had folks in senior leadership roles that might live in Kansas City or Tampa. That are higher up in the organization, because you're competing with folks who have a very specific healthcare skill set, like these data warehouse managers, enterprise project management, these types of things. And so once we already had the infrastructure in place to be able to do meetings remotely, we actually found that it's cut down on travel, it's cut down on expenses, it's cut down on wear and tear of cars. And you can, because it used to be we had to coordinate multiple things. We had to coordinate a place and time, right? So we had to have time, then we had to coordinate a space. So we had to bring all that together. Now with Zoom and MS Teams, all we have to coordinate is the time. So we've eliminated that variable. So we can have, Ray Trust from Gastonia join somebody from Elkid, as well as someone from Union County. And we had a call this morning with folks from 7 counties that we got together. It was a 9 o'clock call and we pulled together at 8:55. That would just been unheard of. So it brings in some efficiencies, but I will say, Mr. Chairman, it's one of the first things folks ask me if they're looking for a job in my department. It really is right out the gate. Is this office space or is this remote?
Understood.
And so it's a challenge for us as well. And I have to say, I think we're competitive, but we can't compete with some of the other folks. So I hear what we're saying. And it is challenging. So one of the things we've had to really look at is what is our marketplace competitive edge to be able to do that? Because what we're seeing is a reverse trend in the number of folks being trained to do this profession. So it's quite honestly, it's slim pickings.
Yeah.
In terms of the pool.
Yeah, we find that to be a challenge for us.
Really challenging.
And, people say, I can do about the same kind of, at least case management type.
Right.
But I get an opportunity to do it from home. It's hard for us to do that when we're looking at things like just, for example, a DSS position that requires a lot of half their time in the office and half the time in the field. So I was just curious as to if you had found that a lot of your employees have become home based. Did you find that as useful in being able to hire the staff that you need?
Yeah, and when we originally went remote, there was never any plan for that to be a continuance. The plan was, we thought within 2 or 3 months, we'd be right back where we were. And then as things went on and on and on, it just changed the core way we did everything. And then it was, again, we didn't have any decline in productivity. We didn't have any deficiencies of plans, no deficiencies in notes. And then, and as we were then doing employee surveys, that was one of the things that later came out as one of the things in terms of retention that folks were most interested in. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, understood. Gentlemen, any other questions, comments? Nope, no. Mr. East, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate your presentation. Thank you. All right, moving right along. I will invite up from the National Architects, Mr. Paul Lazier. Mr. Lazier, welcome. Thank you for coming. Tell us who you are, why you're here, and what's on your mind, and you're cordially welcome. We want to hear what you got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Paul Lazier. I'm with Lazier Architects. I'm the construction contract administrator for them. And I am here about the Surry County Detention Center, the new facility that opened up in December. And I believe we've got some items in your packet that we need to discuss. I am here to answer your questions. Are all of your questions so cool?
All right, first, if you will, tell us what it is, what's your mission here tonight, and then let me inspire some questions here from our side, please.
Well, I am here, hopefully with the intent of getting to close the project out, from a contractual standpoint. Paperwork, money wise, financially, that kind of thing, make sure that the contractor that did the work and subcontractors, that he contracted with are paid.
With that said, I want to thank you, set the setting, you know, as commissioners, we sometimes get deep into the weeds and we get out in the edge of the field, so. Jessica Montgomery, if you will, I want to ask you to come up and kind of set the stage and tell us where we are tonight and where we're stuck in the mud and what it is that, Mr. Lazier, needed to come and talk to us about. So, I mean, you know, we're all friends here. Let's just break it down and just lay it out so the board can have a better grasp of what it is we need to try to accomplish tonight.
Yes, sir. So in your packet was the final change order. So Paul can go into detail and answer any of those questions there with each one of those PCOs listed. And also a letter from Jeffrey Reynolds, which Hank Reynolds is in the audience tonight, from HD Reynolds, requesting a release of the retainage.
Okay, and so all the money hasn't been paid to these folks.
The final payout has not been approved because that release of retainage was in there.
And we're continuing to retain it. Can you tell us why? What's our position on that? Just catch the board up to speed on where we're on with retaining that last minutes.
With that amount of money is something that I would think that would need board approval. Ed Wolf has also reviewed the items. I hope he's had time to review them. I dropped off a huge packet, so he may not have all the time to review it.
They came in on Friday and I'm not.
So everything, all the payouts have been paid up to this point. This is the final.
And what is that amount of money that's here in our package? Refresh me.
$37,240.
That's the change order.
Okay, that 37,241 is the change order.
Yep.
What is the retainage amount that we have not finished with the close the deal? I see another one here. Now, I see a $907,619. Mr.
He looks like Nate has it.
It's a little over $1 million.
Hey, brother, come on up, please, sir.
Yes.
Join in the game. Tell us, who you are, Mr. Reynolds, and, what it is you're pursuing here tonight.
And my name is Hank Reynolds. Taking some here, so what is out of this project?
And Jessica, so you all will participate, and why haven't they been paid the last 3 minutes? Jessica, speaking on behalf of Surry County, as you said, or you Ed, feel free to jump in.
I sent this, just to look at a couple of weeks ago and hadn't had time to review it, so now's the night to review it and release. There's no need to hold the retainage at this point. It's just looking at the final change order. I see if you approve that.
Okay, so basically, you don't have any issue with them being paid their last notice payment for that amount of money? You think that's the position you would recommend that the county take on that issue? I think we have 2 issues. I think we have an issue of the final remittance for the jail project. And then I think we have an issue, I'm reading in between the lines here, of a, maybe another amount of money that was, due to, that wasn't a change order, but we got liquidated damages, we got a final payment here. Is that fair to say? We got 2 issues we're gonna talk about tonight?
I think it all comes down to that final change order. There is one item here that is requesting additional days. Is that correct?
Explain that, if you will, Justin. You have that in front of you.
Which piece?
Is it the 37,240?
It is, that's for the,
142 days.
attorney visitation rooms. They request to add 120 days to the budget.
And now, you know, again, we as the board, we get pieces of that as it goes along, just from memory, I remember hearing that we were, passing our inspections with state inspectors. You know, some of that was happening at the end of the game when our air handlers or our volume or our humidity or our airflow or some of those things were not passing the code, not according to North Carolina inspection department. That's what our local inspection department was kind of saying to us. So, I mean, we had a lot of reasons why we felt like, because everyone was like, what's the hold up? When's the jail going to open? When's the jail going to open? We kept hearing, well, we're not completing inspection here. I mean, Justin, would you speak to that? Is that accurate? Is some of those things happening? Did that fall into the how many days, what, 120-day issue here on liquidated damages assessed?
To me, that's a totally different issue.
Right?
That's a different request for supplies and materials, if I understand.
Yeah, in addition to the scope of work. Cure materials. Okay. You're looking at there, it's 22 weather days, 122 days.
Jessica, in your opinion, is all of that fair? Are you in a position to make a recommendation? Ed, I'm gonna call on some resources and help here from our county. Again, I wasn't over there every day. I wasn't on the phone talking to you guys. I wouldn't, go to fluent with, the final remittance and why it was or was not paid. I'm not totally fluent on the amount of days in which we were trying to get our inspection squared away so we could open up the jail. And much anticipated as it was. So enlighten me here a little bit, Justin. Are you in a position to make a recommendation on what the county's position should be on these two issues as far as saying the final remittance ought to be paid? You said that, right? It is your recommendation.
Do you think we need to pay?
Okay, Ed, you got any comment on that?
No, sir. I'm seeing a huge box of paper on Friday. I've got to do it. Right. I think the intention is probably shouldn't pay. I don't think our position should be, but we are going to offset any liquidated damages claimed from the damage. And the change order is the third component of what we're dealing with. So I think if the board finds the change order to be reasonable and in order, it should be approved. I think the payment should be released. I think we should reserve our right to review a box of papers to determine whether liquidated damages should be pursued.
Okay, so you say we've got three components. One is the change order issue, and that amount is, again, I'm looking at the numbers all over this end down here. The original amount was $46,048. But our, the project manager has agreed to a reduced amount of $37,241. Is that the change order you're referring to? Yeah, okay. And then you're saying as far as the final remittance on the payment, you would suggest that you don't have any reason to feel like that being good neighbors and good citizens and doing our fair part and holding up to our responsibility. Do you have a recommendation that we make the final remittance?
I would make the final remittance because you're contractually bound to do so. Issue of liquidated damages is separate from the part of the wrong.
I understand. All right. I think, I think we broke it down to three things. You're recommending that we comply with the change order request. You're recommending that we release the final remittance, and you're recommending that you would like a little bit more time to be able to look into the liquidated damages issue, and then if this board maybe would take action at a later time.
Yes, sir.
All right. Gentlemen, go right ahead now.
Understanding, what you've come for tonight is just close out the regular payments, right? What we've done all along.
Yes.
This would close out the regular.
I would like to close this project out. In the last change order. The final change order. Place the games.
Is the 907,000 is the last change order in that number, or is it 1,060,000.
I believe it's made 60. Retaining drill,
And then includes
which
everything.
is
That includes everything.
2.5% of the project. That includes everything.
Yes, and you want to do this contract. These two figures right here. What's his name?
That final pay, I also agree. Gotta change that final pay.
So the 1,060,000 includes the change order?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my question.
37,240.
Yeah, that's part of that, right, yeah, okay. And then, so that would be the three issues we're trying to break down tonight, and we want to, serious, these projects are not always simple, you guys know that, and, we are trying to be a good partner here. We have a jail that looks like it's a very nice facility. We have just a few hiccups, as you will, on a $40+ million project. We got in it a little later than we were hoping to get in it. That cost the county some issues on having out of county prisoners that run up some costs. But it has never been a position of this board, certainly it won't be tonight, I don't believe, that we don't want to do our fair share on everything that we agreed upon and still agree on. And I think what we've broken it down to is, we have heard a suggestion from our council that we release the final minutes, and part of that final minutes, and that is that change order that you requested. So, but we've also been instructed that maybe you would like a little more time to talk about these liquidated damages. And, Chris, I want to ask you to weigh in on that. Do you have an opinion on this? Have we broken it down about right? Is that the category that I've just laid out here?
I believe so. I believe the only, issue that we need to wait for Ed's advice on would be the change.
Liquidated damages, yeah. Change order will be included. All right, gentlemen, any questions about what we're talking about?
I have a question about timing. This change order is something we still gotta do, is that correct? Is it already been done?
No, sir, it was done. The change order includes, the additional scope of work. Part of that was things that DHSR found during the inspection. And had to be expedited in other ways.
I understand.
Weren't holding up anymore.
You're almost now, it's good, you have to have another 120 days to take care of all the, things, okay.
120 days included that as well as some other change orders, counter requests that we did.
Justin?
So we're done.
Well, wait a minute. That 120 days, is there anything else that the board needs to know that might have been part of that 120 days?
The 120 days. So at the time the request was made for the change in the attorney visitation room, we were already in May. And we got with a substantial completion of originally of June. So that request came in late. By the time that we got the change order approved, it was June 19th. And then there's a 12-week lead time for just the materials for the security frames and the windows, right? So that's 84 days. And then they added roughly 30 days, 36 days for the installation of that work.
Are you talking about May of 2023?
I am, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Justin, you got anything to add to that?
So we're gonna, like, I mean,
Yes, sir.
you're. Get paid
Yeah.
and you know,
We're done.
well, as I remember, the change order came from us, came from our judicial thing to make all that was late change, so.
Do you feel like that change order was the reason for all the 120 day delay, Justin?
That is what they're informing me it is. At the time of our meetings, we were told that it would not impact the jail opening.
Mr. Lazier, what do you say to that? Is she correct?
There was an understanding, like, when we originally issued the change order, for the work out there. Hank and his team did feel like they were not gonna request any additional time. They didn't feel like they would need to, they would just come back and take care of that later. But then with the delays in commissioning Smoky back, DHSR,
they said, you know, we're gonna need to ask for this time, that time.
You know, I as one member, I feel like every one of you gentlemen do too. I want to do what the right thing is. Whatever's right, that's what we want to do. We employed the department to build the jail, we got the jail built, it had a few hiccups, but, you know, was any of that our fault? Well, I mean, did you feel like it wouldn't be 120 days as it was? I mean, should the county be subject, in your opinion, to pay all of that anyway? Or do you feel like there's some middle ground that we might come to a compromise, or what's your thoughts on that?
But that's, if I may, that's not going to affect the first two items at hand.
No, not, yeah, that's liquidate that.
Liquidated damages.
Yeah, I know, but while it was here, I'm just gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Any,
Well, the change order, Mr. Chairman, there,
yeah, the change order was, but without all the 120-day delay, I guess is what I'm asking. Even though we're gonna take that up at a different time, I just think tonight would be an awful good time to, you know, for this board to get an understanding of where we wanna go, probably on the third item and later time.
Well, I think there were some items, you know, open from, commissioning and, smoke control, testing that need to be done. That kind of dragged on as far as a completion timeframe. Well, we were also dealing with a third-party inspector on that. And he was, very, very thorough, which is not a bad thing by any means whatsoever. But he, you know, we continue to have corrections happening at the same time. So it's not all, related to the 120 days, would be all related to the timeframe. But there's still material delivery of 84 days, and they still have time that they would need to complete that work. And that still was coming at the end of their contract. It was after everything should have been done anyway. And then, you know, we do have 22 weather days that they're asking for in that change order as well. That's been accumulated over the duration of the project. So, the way the weather days work in our contract, it's an average of, the last 5 years. And you take an average of the number of rain days per month. And that average, if the rain days for that month exceeded that average, those are the days that they're entitled to by contract. If it's under that average, they're not entitled to days. So that's where our 22 days in for the weather. But we would have had at least a 22-day extension, regardless of the 120 days. But the 120 days would have been for that material and it's,
And again, I realize we may take some of this up in the future, but tonight would be an awful good time to see where everybody is on what they thought. Okay, gentlemen, I'm looking for, action.
I'd like to make a motion to pay what's owed on the $907,619 and take up the liquidated damages to council. $1,060,000.
Yeah, it's a million, 60,
The
260.
numbers actually need to be updated, Kim.
Where's the correct number?
Put the change over.
Yeah, next time, let's make sure it works for us all. Laura, why did that need to be updated? There's something else that wasn't in.
So originally we sent a payout, with the change order. They reviewed it, we negotiated it down. And hence the update. It was 40.
Yeah. But I thought that.
You're looking 4736.
Yeah.
You're going to go down.
Yes.
Yes.
In the 40s, it wasn't in my.
47 down to 36. Yeah. But 907.37 don't add up to $1,060,000. $924,886. So the $1,060,000 is liquidated damages also. Right?
Yeah. That's what we got.
So it's $944,000.
the target keeps swinging on us just a little bit here tonight, so, you know, before we do anything that's wrong, let's make sure we do it right.
Okay. I'll get it right.
That file, that number, that map 29 should be, $1,051,463.35.
51, what?
51,463. That's 35 cents.
Laura, is that reduced from the amount that's in our packet of, 1,062,70,57?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so does everybody here agree that number is the amount? And we're looking for the, full amount for the final medicine, including that change order. You agree, Laura?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
All right. All right. So. No?
Okay. Okay, I make a motion, we pay what we owe, $1,051,463.
Ed, will that need one motion since it's a change order and a final redundance, so one motion covered? All right.
And 3540.
And
Oh,
35
good, 35. Will that make you, all you gentlemen happy?
Yes.
And you'll, allow us a little tolerance here to, allow the attorney and our county staff to, talk about later the liquidated damages issue. With this going to be.
This is it.
Yes, this is it.
If that needs to be included in the motion, we need to, as Ed says, we want that freedom to discuss that later.
Yeah, is that going to require another motion? All right, you want to modify your motion, Commissioner Marion?
Make the motion to pay what we owe, I mean, total of $1,051,463.35. And with the leniency to let the county attorney go over the liquidated damages part of it for this payment. Is that right? Does that work?
Ed?
I would like to pay them, yeah, reserve the right to,
Review. Right to review.
They need to be totally on point, but
Yeah.
until I get through my now paperwork,
Included in the change order is 120 days, you may just pull back. So you have time.
I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah.
And if the change order, I mean, from a legal perspective, if the dates are in the change order, then you are going to have to do that.
Did we approve the change order to do the work in the previous change order? So they're requesting the days in this change.
Ed, help us out here a little bit. We won't pay these gentlemen just as much as we can, and everybody agree that we're right, but we want the ability to withhold what we may come back and decide according to your recommendation later that maybe we don't totally agree, or we may agree, but give us a notion, Ed.
All right, I will pay retainage, will pay change order. And I would not pay the 22 days of, damages at this point, until, the county has had an opportunity to review our, issues.
Would you allow that to be part of the, motion that you made and insert these terms into that with your original motion? So agree to that. All right. Got a motion on the table. Do I hear a second?
I'll say it.
All right. Motion for Commissioner Marion, second for Commissioner Johnson. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, we appreciate what you've done for us. We want to do exactly what we're supposed to do, but we want just a little bit more time to review this final piece of it, and we'll be back in touch with you soon. Any other questions or comments from you folks?
No, sir, just so I understand, you're gonna pay the retainage and pay the change order, so I'm not gonna understand that, you're all 22 days worth of timber liquidated damages.
You good with that for tonight?
Yes, sir, I appreciate y'all's time.
Well, that's, hey, we might not have got all the way to the finish line, but we got real close, didn't we?
Making strides.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds, thank you, Mr. Lazier. And, thank you for the, project. Thank you, Jessica. Okay,
Thank you, Joe.
yes, sir. All right, moving right along, Mr. Chris, not,
First item I have is, we reviewed this at the last meeting and postponed it, basically we have a investment Surry update for you. It's a one, basically a one shear. If you pull that out, take a look at it, I'll kind of run you through what you have here. As you know, there've been a few additional requests that have been received. Out of the cycle, the requests a couple of years ago, this program has been around now for that long. Some of you have been asking questions about, is there any money left over to reappropriate? What you have here is you have the various categories that the county created, along with the awards in each category. So you have first column is what the board appropriated originally. Next column is what was expended through March 31st of this year. Next is what is expended through March 31st of this year. And then what's obligated until the end of December of this year. And what that means is each of these allocations, when they're originally made, the organizations had until the end of this year to obligate them, basically to tell the county exactly how they're going to spend them. Then they have to the end of fiscal year, excuse me, calendar year 26 to actually spend them. So you see all those categories. You see the new requests that have come in. There are actually four. I believe there'll be a fifth one. I received the inquiry last weekend on another one. I haven't actually received anything officially. And then the last column is what you have available to reappropriate currently. I'll point out what's available to reappropriate includes money for a water and sewer project. As you know, you asked us for the two projects the board has discussed to apply for grants for those, one to the animal shelter in Hope Valley, Fish River Park, and then of course one to the landfill. Both of those were submitted by Jessica and our engineers at Lane Group at the end of April. But that money is still there. You can also see there's a leftover amount in the broadband project that had been originally committed to some sort of great grant or CAB grant. I think the board's holding out to see if the next CAB program will be one that requires no local match, so that could be available. Also, it shows you where we are. That's a negative number with the health department renovation. That should be complete very soon. So we'll be able to update that number. There was some money a few years ago during the pandemic allocated for PPE. That's 45,000. That is recommended. We don't spend that PPE, so that could be reappropriated. And a few smaller amounts here left over in some public recreation and public safety. So the total there, of course, should include the 1.85 million for potential water and sewer projects, about 1.963 and some change. This kind of gives you a snapshot of one pager. I know we've been giving you more of a slideshow update. Hopefully this will be easy to follow. But this is where you are today. And I think if I was to give you any kind of recommendation, we need to sort of see where we're going to be when the obligation deadline comes at the end of December. I think some other numbers will become available as some of these groups complete their projects. Quite a few of these, as you can see, what's encumbered or still in motion, and a few that have yet to commence. I believe they will be commencing soon.
All right. Do you think the health department renovation is going to be more than 46?
Now, the agreement we had initially with the health board was that we had a fixed amount. At one of the previous meetings, last month, so y'all agreed to cover a little additional. Anything over and above that would be handled by their fund balance that they hold.
If they don't, we get the funding, we're not. So we're gonna zero that number out.
What we'll do is eventually we will update that 1.2 number to include it, so we'll zero that.
Okay, gentlemen, comments?
And tell me again, what is the status on the 1.85 million for the pump station over there?
Well, I put that in for a water and sewer project.
Right.
At the time that was placed in there, we really didn't have anything on the books as far as anything we were investigating. Since that time, we've started investigating sewer, primarily for the animal shelter, but also the Hope Valley. They do a package plant there that would be, beneficial to bring offline.
And just the where does that stand? Say it again, perhaps you did say it and I was tuned out, I'm sorry. On that grant application that we're potentially going to submit.
It's resubmitted on April.
And that grant total was how much?
For the sewer, I think it was a little over 3 million.
And that would get us across the Hope Valley and the Animal Shelter. Is that right? And
Just the time, and when we hear back.
Typically, it's right, before the fall, so it'll be probably. August. Will it be July? Okay.
Did I understand you right, that the person that you let out something, or what was?
They had too many boxes, they just threw it out.
Okay.
But they got a little confused because of our relationship between, it wasn't us providing the sewer, it was Town Dawson.
Okay.
But we have talked to them several times through this application process, so hopefully when they see it's balanced. Oh, remember the deal.
Okay. We want to get at least with that for sure.
Okay, another question, comment?
When will we have some of this out? We do it after our county manager comes up with the recommended budget for us, or something like, we have a few new items to discuss, we have a balance. When will we discuss, some of these investments, $30 again?
Chris?
Well, right now you have new requests that are almost 311,000. But if you take out that water and sewer number, in the event you need it, for some reason. Right, you only have 110,000 to reappropriate. So you don't have enough to, if you wanted to fund all these requests, you don't have enough to do it right now.
I'm not in,
I'm fine with.
yeah, I'm not, I wouldn't be in a position to recommend he's funding anything you don't know the board or not.
I'm with that.
Yeah, I know.
I just said, we will do it before we approve the county budget.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
The groups that receive these initial allocations, they have until the end of this year, 2024, to obligate the money. So we really, we will have a snapshot as the year goes on. And if we get to a point where we have a significant amount of money that's to be reappropriated, we'll bring it back.
and we'll know about the grants that just applied for to the board.
Yeah.
But I misunderstood, to the end of calendar year 2024, I was thinking June 30th, I'm sorry.
Okay, but we'll have some sort of rough idea about all, right?
If we receive the grants and they're fully minimal local match, then we'll have some money there.
Yeah, we'll have
Consider
some money.
reappropriate. Yeah, at your discretion.
If we have some money, we can talk about deeds and some other ideas. But, yes, the information we see. Gentlemen, any other comments, suggestions, questions? All right.
Okay, next item, on the 20th of this year, Mr. Kenneth Carter offered an initial bid of $5,000 for property in West Mount Hermon Church Road. Now, on the 1st of April, the board voted to accept this initial bid, which began the period. On April the 11th, Finance Office ran a public notice in the Mountaineer News to advertise the upset bid period. And as of April 21st, which was the 10-day period closing, there were no additional bids, therefore the highest offer remains at $5,000 for Mr. Parker. So it's being brought back to the board for consideration.
All right, gentlemen, what's your thoughts on this person? $5,000 offer, nothing changed since. That's your district.
South District.
That's your district. Commissioner, why don't you chime in?
Yeah, I think that's the one with the he go out there and structure, it's as well as with quite clean up deal. Yes, and we've got, I think previously it was a pretty decent officer from offer what it was, so yes, I'm gonna recommend approval on that, Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
All right, that's a motion from Commissioner Harris in your district. Do I hear a second? Second, Commissioner Bill Goins, any discussion? Yeah, in addition to the $5,000. Yeah. Yeah, understood. All right. Any other comments, questions? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, none. Motion carries.
My final item is also a surplus property being brought back to you on the 28th. Mr. Chris Moore offered an initial bid of $5,000 for property on Maple Grove Church Road. On the 18th of March, the board voted to approve the initial bid and thus began the upset bid period. Again, an article was placed on April 11th in the Monterey News. And as of the 21st, end-date period came to a close with no additional bids. Therefore, the $5,000 bid from Mr. Moore remains.
All right. Gentlemen, your district, go right
I'll
ahead.
make a motion to, approve the final offer of $5,000 plus the upset fee advertising.
Okay, we have a motion, Commissioner Bill Goins. On this parcel number ending 5324, $5,000 on Maple Grove Church Road, second from Commissioner Mark Mary, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. For the offer on Maple Grove Church Road property. Chris, what else?
That's all I have. We have a request for closed session following general county business.
All right. That about winds up, gentlemen. We got down to the portion where we're about to turn loose out there, so, looking for commissioner comments. And, we'll start with you, Commissioner Marion. General county.
What mine's concerning is, I had an opportunity to be one of the judges for the Yes Surry competition. For the North Surry High School. And the Economic Development Director, Blake Moyer, was a judge for the regional county, the whole county, seven participants. Blake, would you like to come and speak on that a little bit about our young entrepreneurs?
Opportunity. So as you all are aware, what Surry is, it's youth competition Surry. It's ran in all the high schools across the county, including the Lake Charter Academy. Each high school is required to have its own high school competition where there's placements. The first place winner goes to the county-wide level competition. You have 7 students pitching a business or a business idea that might be currently running it. It might be a kind of proposed sort of thing where they've never, they haven't sold a single unit, but after doing, they kind of run the gambit. We had 7 from all the different high schools come to compete. Not a single one was different, not a single one was the same. Last year we had 3 days, so it's kind of different, a little bit of variety across the board. The young lady who won, Chloe Marsh, Marsh is the last name. She's North Surry High School winner. She does like balloon arches, balloon decorations for events and things. Second place was from Surry, Surry Central, yes, and then the young lady from Surrey, I believe, from London, sorry. The competition, Sue Brown Field, and then Laser Edge Folks, and those guys are all the ones kind of the help of it. And then I think a team of 45 or so teachers, coaches, mentors from across the county, kind of helping these students learn a little bit of the entrepreneurial journey. They get awarded a grant at the end of it. The EVP, the chamber, a bunch of different businesses from around the community are all sponsors of it, and pretty happy to be involved.
And the top 2 did receive boards on the chamber.
All
Seats on the chamber.
All 3 have got chamber memberships. The top winner got a booth at Biz Fest that we're having next week here in that area. So she gets to come and do a booth like in a professional business expo, just like anybody else. And she'll tell you she's just as busy as any other business. I think her graduation. I think,
And our leads, yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
some of the best young folks there, good presentations and,
If you meet Chloe, you should ask her what she's doing her graduation weekend. So
Yeah.
This fest on Wednesday and then, doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday events. It's pretty impressive to see what these kids do.
3 setups that we
Sure do. Thank you, Mr. Morris. Commissioner Cole.
Well, I appreciate everybody coming out here, being out tonight. It's good to see you. Went back to Dobson, but, we're glad to see you down there. And, Matt, we appreciate you having us here at the museum. Great venue. I did want to mention, a couple weeks ago, the downtown business had a community night out, basically showcasing our public safety, entities, North Carolina Wildlife, North Carolina Highway Patrol, EMS, Monterey Fire Department, Monterey Police Department, and Rescue Squad, Monterey Rescue Squad. Great event. And it was well attended by a lot of young people, got a lot of young people involved. Fire department did a great job having kids go to the little obstacle course, and we got to, at the end, knock down some cones with a fire hose, so that was kind of neat. And then the rescue squad did an extrication there on the street, and so that was really neat. EMS had one of our new ambulances that we just purchased, and let people go through and see the new ambulance. That was quite a treat to see too, because they designed that ambulance. They got a team together and designed it. A really neat outfit for our citizens. So that was a great thing. A lot going on in Surry County. This weekend they had Bud Break. That was well attended for the rain. Had rain, and I don't know about the food truck festival. Well attended. A lot of things going on. Encourage people to go to Mayfest this weekend. We'll try to get down there, but a lot going on, and it's good. Our county's doing a lot of things. We appreciate our towns and cities doing what they do to bring people in, and brings a lot of folks from outside, and that always helps us raise a little revenue. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Goins. Commissioner Johnson, you want to
My usual thing is, I'm blessed to live in Surry County, and I'm glad the farmers market, it's impressive that, a little income coming in on these forward, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the lead, Joe. But thank the museum for having us in that area. And, like I said, I'm glad I live in Surry County.
Absolutely. Commissioner Harris.
I'd like to thank HG Reynolds Company and Mosley Architects for being here tonight. I know y'all traveled some distance, and we're glad the jail project has come to a completion as well. I'd like to say that we had a really good dinner in Rockford last night, the Rockford Preservation Society. A lot of good things going on in the village of Rockford, and as most folks know, we are renovating the 1830 historic courthouse, the fifth oldest courthouse in North Carolina, still standing in the village of Rockford and the county of Surry now owns that. And but there was a lot of folks there, good food last night down at the Hardin Holyfield house in Rockford, and glad to be a part of that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Again, we do thank the Monterey Museum of Regional History for having us and hosting us. Thank you, Mr. Matt Edwards, Director, for being here. We enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you for putting up with us. It's good to get out and about once in a while. And again, thank you so kindly for having us. I was just going to say a little bit off note, I think, but here about 10 days ago, we had a tragic incident down in my district, down in the neck of the woods at where the Ararat River runs into the Yadkin. We had a young father and a mother that had some children, and they were out in the river. And like a long story short, it was a tragic ending for the father. The father heroically was able to save 2 or 3 children, but unfortunately, he was not able to save himself. And so, they set up Surry County set up our emergency command post there on site in the Siloam community, right across from the store. The nice store owner, a new owner, he and his wife were kind enough to open up their country store to provide provisions for all the rescue teams. I went over just kind of as a spectator. The emergency services folks kindly welcomed me in. We had all Surry County's finest there. We had our fire and rescue, multiple volunteers, multiple agencies, multiple equipment trying to find this drowned father who was victim of this tragic accident. It was heart wrenching. They were dealing on the side with a widow and three little boys, and we had the sheriff's department chaplain on site, and they were trying to console her and try to find this poor victim. And we had Surry County Emergency Medical Services, we had Surry County Medical Management, we had Surry County's law enforcement officers, they had a 2 or 3 county coordination going on that they were running out of that command center. I think Yankee was involved, Stokes was involved, maybe Wilkes was involved. They were talking to emergency service people and personnel from literally 3 or 4 counties. They were even in communication at one point with the folks that let off the dam up at the Wilkesboro Lake. Maybe curtail the water flow getting up if that might inhibit the search for that body. And this goes on for probably about 24 hours. And they brought in drones and they brought in underwater drones, and we got that from we borrowed that from other counties, and they were able to help us operate. But to make a long story short, it was a tragic ending. And I want everybody to keep this dear family in prayer. It was just most unfortunate. But I was proud of Surry County, and I was proud of the services it offered. I was proud of the fact that they were somebody that was willing to go in there and find a victim like that to bring some closure for this poor family, and all the coordination that went on to make that happen. To be honest with you, I left there with just a little bit different perspective on what Surry County is and does, and your point, Commissioner Johnson, how fortunate we are to live here. As part of that, me being there, there was a representative there from the North Carolina State Emergency Management District, and he didn't know who I was or if I was anyone, or if I just stumbled in off the street. He probably thought the latter, but nonetheless, he said, you know, we got the finest people here in the state. And he said, I can tell you one thing about Surry County. He said, there is not a finer county in this state when it comes to emergency medical management. And he said, they'll do everything they can to accomplish this mission. And I said, well, sir, I live in Surry County. Thank you so much for saying that. But I want to take my hat off and salute all the volunteers, all the departments, all the emergency rescue folks, emergency management, law enforcement, all the multiple volunteers and agencies. And it was, as I say, a tragic ending, but quite an accomplishment to witness. So I just wanted to shout out to them. And with that, I think that concludes our meeting. And as Chris said, we do have a call for close tonight. So I am looking for a motion to go into closed session. Motion to go into closed, Commissioner Harrison. Here a second. Second, Commissioner Goins. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And we are in closed. Thank you. That's your kid. Always good. Understand.
Yeah. You better hang around. We might have about now. What's the weird? Well, I'll say, it's funny there. It's all down the right. I know, right? Yeah, right. Well, they're very good. They do so, again, I guess you messed up. Yeah. Single one. But even if we are this right now, we can get this is our. I've been looking since the whole year. They're not easy to find. Well, they're easy to find. You know, that's not mine.
There may be one action.
Oh, gotcha. One, seven. No, we got this right here. I'm gonna take that one down and then everything I had left.
Oh, it comes down after, you have to
I
wait.
will take it, yeah, I'll take it down after.
Okay.
That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the issue. I'm gonna try, I'm gonna figure it out. You have problems.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is a crossing area. I wouldn't wait for that to happen. But what, that's gonna happen, yeah.
You're great seeing you.
Where were you? I was playing gigs. Get out of it.
Yeah.
I just want to say, hey, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Dan, I'm gonna learn this song now to myself, and then I'll be back.
We don't have to. I don't know why it's not.
Yeah. Brings you back. Yeah. I'm going to the next place.
Yes. About 10 years ago. They started getting rid of the contract. That's it. Once it got- we're actually going to incorporate them in. They're down on the first floor of the. Yeah, the theater. It's gonna have those seats.
They have done a really great job, and they're continually progressing. It is really.
When you go down, numbers, we like to sort out the elevator.
Yeah.
Well, then,
Yeah. I thought we were.
she brought one up, yeah.
So,
You know, Matt made a little pick up in the timing, otherwise the ceiling would have been up and it would have looked like that. Matt learned some things about architecture.
Yeah, he brought these in on crane, right? Or they brought these.
Yeah, they took the trailer off the frame and then, this dude climbed out the window onto the trailer and got in the bottles again. Came through that third one.
So this last weekend, we had a group of Model P people come for the cruise in, of course, they're 95K. Where we got to go look at them and they were, it's a really cool thing to see, them riding around town and all that kind of stuff. And there's so many different brands I didn't know that there was, you know, that's and all sorts of different kinds and stuff. It was really cool to see that.
I hope we'll get ready for that. I was- yeah, we had first show of the season last year, I heard the rear end.
Oh, no.
And and then I had to move my mom out of the house and just, and so it's set up on Jackson's until it's still. I just got everything fixed, so I'm hoping to have it back on board by the end of the month. That's still so that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Well, it's great seeing you. Buddy. Yeah.
It's great.
I've got one in the car.
Yeah. Oh, it's very down. I just asked Chris about the. Yes. Like that, because we gotta. Yeah, we're seeking government support, volunteer listen today, yeah.
Vicky's in, she's the, those, and I know that, but I think that mine, there's a lot of us that were looking for. We try to do it. Change it to.
Last year, absolutely swept like every project that we submitted, one, advisor one, advisors of the year. It was, and.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we love that. So, yeah. But I'll let Joe.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that's one of those things, I mean, the kids.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and even if like some of the one, it's the cool, you know, say, it's a really cool to have, so, yeah, it's, yeah.
I'm gonna just, I'm gonna here for a second, and figure out what it was, I'll come over here and take it. If I walk through that, I walk, that's what the time it was. It's on the. It's out there. But you guys step through the changing gallery.
Yeah.
I'll leave lights on, so you go back up, so that you just make it hands on. Yeah, right in the basement. So go down on the first floor, and it's on the south side of the. And he came down, she sent me to the right, down the stairs and over the fastest. The official flow is you go down through that left hand side. That's not. Zigzag. Yes. That's one of my favorite pieces of the and that's making me for the one of them is called here, and here to say it's a stop bus. Thanks to it's a. Yeah. It looks kind of like a boat, right? It's like you fill it with one house. And drive it into the. And it's not, I mean, they like the fuse and. It blows the gun out.
Oh, I don't want to. You might have nothing.
Just come out, close.
No.
Well, I don't I will.
Hey, Sandy.
That's right. Got it out, what? We've had much to say after this.
We've had a session. Okay, all right. Okay, Ed, you have an issue?
Yes, sir. A couple of meetings ago, this board surplus the Red Hill Creek Community Center. We own it. We leased it to, Red Hill Creek Community Center. We leased it to Wyvetti that used it as a Head Start program. I circulated a three-way termination. County, Wyvetti, and the community center. And there was some pushback. The community center was not aware that the county owned the building. And I contacted Gail Brown, who is the president, and she has some interest, and her board has some interest in continuing use of the facility. And I suggested that she make a proposal to the county, have a budget, a plan of operation, because basically Wyvetti operated the facility for Head Start and paid community center rent. And the community center paid the county $1 a year rent. Nobody responded to my three-way lease termination. Wyvetti contacted us this week. In addition to the building, there's a playground, has playground equipment on it. It was financed through HUD. The building also was financed through HUD. We're trying to figure out what happens to any funds that are generated from the sale. And it appears that for the building, HUD gets all of the funds. For the equipment, if it's less than $5,000, then the county would keep those funds. Wyvetti has asked to be reimbursed for $2,000 for its fence and its playground equipment. I have no indication that Wyvetti has an interest in the playground equipment, so it bears further research. And I need to nail down the fact that all of our proceeds from the sale of the building go to HUD. So that's sort of status on that.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Gentlemen? Questions? Action, comments? No. You suggesting any action tonight? Mr.
No, sir.
Surry?
I think maybe at the next meeting, we'll have more answers.
Okay. Anything else, gentlemen? Okay, I have one more item. I'd like to make a motion to remove from the Northern Regional Hospital the positions of trustees, the chairman, including the chairman and the vice chairman, effective immediately.
Second.
Motion to remove the chair and the vice chair effective immediately from Northern Regional Hospital as their appointments to the Board of Trustees, and I have a second from Commissioner Bill Goins. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. Thank you. Anything else from anyone? Looking for a motion?
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn from Commissioner Mark Marion, second.
Larry Johnson, William.
Commissioner Larry Johnson, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.